What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of For the Love of Wrestling. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams. Happy Thursday as we round out our week of wrestling reviews. And boy, have we got a lot to talk about today. Matthew here saying he's already got the popcorn ready. Daniel saying hello there. Thanks for proving CM Punk right, the Massey brothers. We'll get there when we get there. I've been trying to think of what I want to say today because this is most definitely going to be a topic this week on open mic night. So I've been debating the last 12 hours or so whether or not to just unleash everything that I feel here or whether I should give a little taste and then save the rest of my diatribe for Saturday on open mic night. I think you, the fans here watching today, are going to be the ones to dictate how that goes, because if I start seeing the chat room blow up with super chats and everything asking my opinions and wanting me to go further, then I will. Otherwise, I will save most of what I have to say until Saturday. That way I can really get it good and juicy. Let it marinate a little bit. Dynamite kicked off though with Samoa Joe coming out for his match against the Natural Dustin Rhodes, and he's attacked by Swerve Strickland, so the match doesn't begin. Okay, so show starting off hot and heavy. I like where we're going here. We then go backstage and we see that Renee Paquette is outside of Orange Cassidy's dressing room, and Orange Cassidy is going to address the heartless actions of Trent Beretta on Rampage. Okay? Little cliffhanger here. Whet our appetites. We then have Adam Copeland versus Penta El Cielo Miedo for the TNT title, and this was a good match. Really good opening contest. I feel like Adam Copeland was pushed to his limits by Penta, and I could tell that it looked like Adam was having a hard time keeping up with Penta. It was really showing. I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but as somebody who's followed Adam since he debuted as Edge in 1988 in the WWF, and as somebody who used to wrestle himself, I could really see that Adam was having a hard time keeping up with him. Somehow, Cope was able to get a spear on a Penta, pick up the victory. Okay, it was what it was. By no means was I expecting Adam to lose the title here. I just thought it would be a little bit more even keeled, and Penta dominated the match. Post-match, Brody Keane from the House of Black comes out and attacks Adam. Julia Hart is there. She's attacking Adam 2-on-1. Penta's doing nothing. He's just, this ain't my mess. Willow Nightingale comes out to even the score because we all know she's got a match against Julia at Dynasty. And they turn the tables, get the upper hand here. That's how the segment ends. Again, really good opening contest here. I'm liking the way the story's progressing, moving into Dynamite. The show so far is doing pretty solid. Run through these comments here before I turn the page. All right. It's a brand new book, so we then had Lion Hook and Katsuyori Shibata backstage with Renee Paquette, and they're kind of talking about their upcoming match against Shane Taylor Promotions that evening. Jericho, being the seasoned vet, lays out how he wants the match to go. Everyone's pretty much in agreement. Shibata and Hook kind of have this look on their face, but they all agree to do what Jericho said as the locker room leader, the veteran in the match. And then once Jericho leaves, Shibata, via his phone translator, asks Hook, what was that about? Hook tells him, don't worry about it. And then once Hook leaves, Shibata uses his translator to tell Renee that he likes her necklace. Okay, cool. Little awkward, but it was what it was. We then go to a backstage segment with Mark Briscoe and Eddie Kingston. And Renee's talking to him, congratulating Briscoe on the match at Supercard of Honor, talking to Eddie Kingston, what was it like, the two of you guys in there going toe to toe. And then Adam Copeland comes stumbling in. And apparently, I've missed Rampage and Collisions since I stopped reviewing them. So apparently, over the course of those shows, we've developed a rivalry here between Briscoe, Kingston, and Copeland and the House of Black. That's going to be a match at Dynasty. So Copeland comes backstage and he's like, we're all still good for Dynasty, probably checking in with Briscoe and Kingston since they just had a war for the Ring of Honor title. And then Willow and Stokely come in, and Stokely kind of jokingly tries to get Copeland to put his TNT title on the line against Willow. And Willow's like, no, that's not what we talked about. And she suggests a match for next week on Dynamite, Adam Copeland, Willow Nightingale versus Julia Hart and Brody King. We find out later in the night the match is made official. And again, these matches play into Dynasty. I like the way the storyline's progressing here. I get to see Willow in action next week. I love Willow. I like Julia. Everything is going great for this episode of Dynamite. And then we get to the Massey Brothers segment. And they try to spin the video that they are about to show into, because this happened, our heads weren't in the game, and that's why we lost to FTR at All In Wembley Stadium. So they're trying to use this video to bring it into the storylines. And right there's a problem. Because this video that they're about to run literally has nothing to do with the Young Bucks or FTR. None of those four men are involved in this video. You can argue the Bucks are involved because they're EVPs of the company and they may have had to deal with this after the fact, but none of them are in the video. So to try to say that this happening is what cost you to be mentally in the game in your match to FTR, that's a load of fucking horseshit. Get out of here with that. And then they run the video, and I will say this. If you are a Massey Brothers, Jack Perry fan, diehard AEW fan, and you watch this video, you feel CM Punk was in the wrong. If you're a diehard CM Punk fan and you watch this video, you feel CM Punk is in the right. Showing this video is a lose-lose situation for everybody involved because it doesn't definitively prove one way or the other who was in the right, who was in the wrong, especially since there was no audio to the video. All you see is the two of them interacting with each other. you can't hear what either of them is saying. So it's very possible CM Punk is going up to Jack Perry, cussing him out, raising his voice, and instigating it. It's also very possible that CM Punk is walking up to him very calmly, asking him, like, hey, man, why would you do that? We've talked to you about that. And Jack Perry is being an arrogant little snot-nosed fucking prick. We don't know because we can't hear it. I am firmly in the camp that believes that what CM Punk said was right. I watched the Ariel Helwani interview. I heard him lay out what happened. They rolled the footage, and everything that he said seemed to happen beat by beat. We can't hear Jack Perry if he says, well, why don't you do something about it? Or what are you going to do about it? Egging CM Punk on. We can't hear that, so we don't know. We will never know. I'll even bet you half the people backstage there in that video don't really know what was said because there's so much other commotion backstage, plus you're hearing the roar of the crowd. All that needs to be factored in here. But the video is shown. Once the video is over, the Massey brothers say a few more things about it. And then we go to the ring and FTR comes out. They show the commentators. Excalibur and Taz are discussing what we just saw. Tony Schiavone looks like he wants to commit suicide and put himself out of his own fucking misery with what he just dealt with. You have to remember, he was there ringside at the table during the Bash at the Beach 2000 incident with Hogan, Jarrett Russo, and all that stuff. He's probably having freaking flashbacks, PTSD and shit. FTR comes out, cuts themselves a promo, responding on FTR. Why the hell are you doing this? What does this have to do anything? We then go to commercial, come back, and out comes Will Ospreay. And Ospreay doesn't take this opportunity to rein the show back in. Ospreay doesn't take this opportunity to sell his match with Bryan Danielson. Ospreay takes this opportunity to fire shots at Paul Levesque, Triple H, because of a comment that Triple H made, I want to say on Logan Paul's Impulsive show, where he mentioned about, if you don't want to come to WWE and you don't want to grind and you want to go somewhere and work less days, I don't want you anyways. So Ospreay took that as a jab at him. Comes out and says that the only reason that the person that said those things is in the position that he's in is because he was grinding on the boss's daughter. Prior to this moment, I was a huge Ospreay fan. After this, could give a fuck about Ospreay. He is as big of a piece of shit as Nick Massey, Matt Massey, and Jack Perry at this point. We then tried to go back to ring action, and this is where you will notice a change in opinions on the matches. Because everything that just transpired completely took me out of the show. Even Matthew says he pretty much stopped watching the show. Yeah, I want to address this real quick. I know there's not a super chat here, and Safet, you're a regular, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna address this. I call bullshit. I call bullshit. Nick and Matt Massey have been all about taking shots and digs at the WWE and Punk from day one. And now Ospreay and the Bucks want to try and go on and say that it wasn't their idea to do it. Bullshit. Was it Tony Khan's idea for them to start using Carry On Wayward Son by Kansas to take shots at Phil? Was it Tony Khan's idea for them to do the buckshot lariat and act like they fucked it up, just like when Phil did it? No, that was all those idiotic, bitch ass Massey Brothers ideas. The same guys who never wanted to meet with Punk to try to work things out and draw money from it, but yet they're all about showing this footage to try to pop a rating. Get the fuck out of here. So we go to Lionhook and Katsuyori Shibata versus Shane Taylor Promotions. Gave a fuck less about this match. There was dissension, it looked like, between Jericho and Hook. Shane Taylor Promotions gets the win on Shibata. There's no reason these Ring of Honor jobbers should have been able to beat these three, even if they've never teamed together before as a trio. Complete and utter bullshit here. We then got Christiana Argento versus Kazuchika Okada. Squash match next. So you go from Shibata jobbing to Okada in a squash match. This is your grand idea of how we're going to save the show. After the match, Okada gets on the microphone and accepts Pac's challenge for the International Championship for Dynasty. FTR comes out. The Elite comes out. The Elite stands tall. CM Punk is chanted in the crowd. I'm getting there, Matthew. Let me handle this, bro. I got this. I've got things written in a way that I want to relay them. The crowd is chanting CM Punk because, you know, the Young Bucks can't draw natural heat without invoking the name of CM Punk, without even saying his name. Hell, they tried to say that FTR were the masterminds behind Punk and Perry getting into the altercation because Punk is friends with FTR. We then had a Bullet Club Gold promo that was utterly forgetful. We then had a Charleston champagne toast because, you know, we're right at that quarter hour. Got to get the women out there. Tony attacks Thunder Rosa. Deonna Purrazzo comes out to try to make the save. Rosa wants no part of it. I can't say that I blame her. We then get Mariah May versus Anna Jay in what should have been a terrific match. And you know what? It very well might have been, but I could give a fuck all about this match. Mariah May won. Mina Shirokana came out. They made out. Okay, and we then had an interview with Mercedes Moné, who gives a shit. Main event, Samoa Joe versus Dustin Rhodes. They tried to salvage the night, but at the end of the day, this was just some more stupid-ass booking by Tony Khan and the EVPs because they put a Samoan named Joe in the main event with a Rhodes. Are we not trying to capitalize on night 2 of WrestleMania? Come on, y'all. Don't tell me nobody saw the transparency here. Nobody saw the fact that Tony Khan was trying to capitalize on Cody's big moment by putting his big brother in there with a Samoan wrestler named Joe. This show, prior to the footage being shown, was on track to being a pretty decent show. Once that happened, man, the energy was sucked out of the building. The talent seemed to not give a fuck. The announcers seemed to not give a fuck. Except for maybe Excalibur, because, he's got his lips surgically attached on the cocks of the Jackson brothers, the Massies. On a scale of 1 to 10, the show gets a -1. This was the worst episode of AEW television I've ever seen. And it was just so horrid that I have decided to schedule my Inside the Mind of the Renegade that I've been holding off for a while to do on AEW for this coming Tuesday, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to address Tony Khan. I'm going to address what I would do to change AEW for the better. And that's going to be the end of that. I am sick and tired of watching this. And it's just horrid. It's just horrid. Yeah, to Safet's point, anybody who's reposting the footage that they aired, they're copyright striking. Why? Why are you so scared? Are you scared that the video didn't make you look the way you thought it would make you look? That's the only reason to delete it. If you are so proud of what you just did and you feel like airing that footage and the footage that you showed justifies your decisions, let everybody share it. Because the more people share it, the more you guys look justified. But if you feel like that makes you guys look like bigger pieces of shit than people already thought you were, that's the only reason to hide it by deleting it and copyright striking people. Matthew gives it a -10. Safet gives it a 1. Daniel says this just proves Punk was right all along, that he works with children. Absolutely. So, all that being said, take a moment. I'm going to run our latest watch-along trailer. Come back, give you guys a couple of shows, and we'll be out of here. Stay tuned.
3, 2, 1. Here we go again. Right now, let's go. Me and you, toe to toe. We can rock, we can roll. Here we go again. Right now, let's go. Me and you, toe to toe. We can rock, we can roll. You see it?
We are back. Want to thank you guys all for joining me today and staying tuned with all this. It's been an intriguing show, to say the least. Hope you guys will all join us this week for open mic night. Saturday, 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Like I said, next Tuesday, Inside the Mind of the Renegade, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for our watch-along coverage of New Japan Pro Wrestling Windy City Riot. I believe that's going to begin at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you guys tune in on Saturday prior to open mic night for our watch-along coverage of AEW Collision and Battle of the Belts. Don't get me started on Battle of the Belts. I agree with you guys about Battle of the Belts, but it is what it is. And then we get a little bit of a break on watch-alongs until we get to Rebellion and Dynasty the following weekend. Make sure you guys tune in on Monday. Same bat time, same bat channel when I discuss tonight's episode of TNA Impact, as well as tomorrow's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. I want to once again thank you guys all for joining me and tuning in today. Make sure you like, subscribe, share these videos on social media. And until next time, I will talk to you guys later.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
Thank you, JJ. Appreciate you.